When was the last time you played a good new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game? The last time the Ninja Turtles were great in a video game was on Injustice 2. It was a fantastic experience being able to play as them in such an addicting game. It was also a breath of fresh air since mostly every TMNT game would go with the same gameplay approach. You guys remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighter? It was an okay game for its time. I enjoyed it while others didn't, but I can see why some TMNT fans weren't pleased with the results of the game, seeing as it felt like a Street Fighter clone. I liked that each version of this game had its own exclusive characters, which gives you a reason to try every version out, even if the graphics and sound weren't the same. Now, aside from the original game, why haven't we received another tournament fighter for TMNT? I understand that the Turtles go up against multiple enemies at once, and they all work together to defeat every adversary, and this always leads to a co-op side-scrolling beat-em-up. That's not a bad thing at all. It's just that developers haven't exactly pulled it off since TMNT 4 Turtles in Time. I do remember enjoying the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, but it sure got annoying to hear each turtle repeat the same dialogue that comes with every move. There was also TMNT Mutant Melee on the same console platforms. I haven't tried that one out yet, but by the looks of the gameplay, it appears to be the same as the previous TMNT games, which they're based on the same animated series. I know it's slightly different in terms of the stages and stage hazards, but it still looks the same as the previous games. I'm sure that at least one of the previous games has a PvP mode, which must look identical to this. But anyways, isn't it about time that we got another tournament fighter? If you look at Injustice 2, they redeemed the classic appearance of the live-action Ninja Turtles from the 1990 film. They aren't 100% identical, but it's the closest we've gotten to that film. And even though another side-scrolling beat-em-up would be interesting to see with today's graphics, I think the Ninja Turtles deserve a new tournament fighter with those realistic graphics that NetherRealm Studios has pulled off so far. Perhaps they can delay the next MK game or Injustice game and just make this dream game come true, because I love the results of the Turtles in Injustice 2. They each have their own combos, abilities, special moves. I love the customization for each of them as well, the references to the franchise on each gear piece. Everything about it was excellent. They're part of the reason why I still love to play Injustice 2 nowadays, even if it takes about 20 minutes to find a new opponent. Now, I'm not against the idea of another side-scrolling beat-em-up. It would be even greater to see that the story mode includes some side-scrolling levels. Think about it, Tekken 3 was able to pull this off, and in my opinion, even though the Tekken Force mode wasn't the best, it was still a great addition to Tekken 3. I loved being able to play as my favorite characters taking down a large group of bad guys with the same 1v1 mechanics. It was a bit tanky, but it worked. Nickelodeon Kart Racers has been the latest game to feature the Ninja Turtles in it, something you would never expect to see them in. Same goes for Injustice 2, but at least that game made sense since it's a fighting game. But if there's any chance that we can ever get a new TMNT tournament fighter, I'd love to see NetherRealm Studios work on that project for the reasons I explained. Even if they use the same character models with the same attacks and everything, I would be 100% okay with it. Can't fix it if it ain't broken, know what I mean? Plus, I'm pretty sure that if different developers work on this new tournament fighter, they'd most likely make them cartoony and the graphics wouldn't be realistic looking for the Turtles or any of these characters for sure. That's why I'm looking right at the perfect designs of their Injustice 2 versions. So let's think about the characters. Which characters would be perfect for that game? We know the Turtles, Casey Jones, the Shredder, Bebop and Rocksteady would have to be playable, maybe even April O'Neil since there are versions of her where she kicks ass. The character roster would have to be balanced with both good and bad guys. So let's start with the good guys first. At least 30 characters to make it a good roster. So that's 15 good guys and 15 bad guys. Maybe a couple of them will end up being neutral characters. And before I begin, I want to let you guys know that I'm only going to provide a short brief summary on the very little known characters. But I'll dedicate a video on each of them later on if you guys are interested in them. So, the Turtles, Casey Jones, Splinter, and April O'Neil make up 7 characters. The next character I think would be perfect for the roster would be Ninjara, aka Umeko. Ninjara is part of an ancient race of Fox people. She's a skilled martial artist, a formidable swordswoman. She is equal to the Ninja Turtles in stealth and fighting abilities, which is probably why Raphael became a very close friend of hers. Next is Alfalca. He's a mysterious birdman who was encountered in Saudi Arabia. He of course has the ability to fly, but also capable of reaching great heights at a very swift speed. He can also communicate with other bird-like creatures. He's a swordsman and a great warrior as well. Next is Renee Tilly, a time master from the future. She uses a time scepter and energy knuckle dusters as her weapons. Depending on the version she appeared in, she's either an adult or 16 years old. Next in line is Traximus. He's a Triceraton and an ally to the Turtles. The Triceratons are an antagonizing race that invade Earth, but since there are very few of them that would actually prefer helping the Turtles rather than destroying them, I'd say he deserves a spot on the roster. Next is Jaguar, a member of the mighty Mutanimals. He's closely connected to the spirit world, but his name and appearance give you enough info to why he should be in the character roster. Next one is Chameleon, not the guy or girl from Mortal Kombat, an actual chameleon man in the TMNT franchise. He's a secret agent codenamed Chameleon. He's an expert at his job. He has the ability to blend in to any surface, making him completely invisible. The creators must have been under the impression that chameleons actually do this, but they don't. They change colors depending on their mood. He can crawl on walls and ceilings, which I think could become an interesting ability to pull off during a match. Next is Gothano. This character is a member of the Pantheon, an immortal family of beings that have influenced human affairs for eons. His domains are secret and hidden knowledge. He dwells deep under the ocean, and he's the least human-like of all the other members. I'd say his attacks would be somewhat similar to Shuma Gorath in Marvel vs. Capcom, seeing as we don't really know what he's hiding. And the last good guy character that I think would basically need to be included would have to be Jenica, aka Jenny, the new female Ninja Turtle. There was once a female turtle introduced in the live-action series known as Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, but most fans aren't really pleased with that character. It didn't help that the show was terrible. I'm sure she could have been a fan favorite, but I think the show butchered her along with the rest of the TMNT cast, sadly. It'd be great to make Jenica have her first video game debut in a new TMNT tournament fighter, and she would be the last good character in the roster. Now on to the bad guys. This ain't too hard seeing as there are so many memorable villains in the TMNT franchise, and the main ones are Shredder, Krang, Bebop, Rocksteady, Leatherhead, Metalhead, Shredder's daughter Karai, Slash, Baxter Stockman, and the Rat King. These characters don't really need a short summary, but the others probably do. So, the next character would be Scumbug. Like most characters, he has a different design in every version he appears in, only with this guy, every version is vastly different from one another, some really creepy ones. So I'd like to see another unique design, but one created by NRS. Scumbug was a professional bug exterminator that was hired by the Shredder to get rid of every pest in his secret base, but he accidentally got contaminated with some of the mutagen, which mutated him into a giant man-roach. His abilities should be quite interesting, like spraying poison on the opponents, using toxic smoke bombs as well. There's a lot you can do with this character for sure. Ground Chuck and Dirtbag were favorite classics in my opinion, especially in their video game appearance, which was in TMNT 3 The Manhattan Project. Ground Chuck is a mutant bull with incredible strength, and his weapons include a tranquilizing dart wrist gun, an electro prod, and a turtle tethering crossbow. Dirtbag is a mutant mole that uses a mine pick as his weapon, as well as a laser gun, a jackhammer, and a shovel. So those two definitely need to be included. Next character should be Bloodbath, a member of Stump's intergalactic wrestling team. He has the appearance of a wolfman with some long sharp fangs, and I like the fact that he's a professional wrestler since it adds to the variety of fighting styles in this dream game. The final character should be Mae East, the ancestor of April O'Neil. She's a sorceress that is possessed with a multitude of secret powers. Basically, she could be the enchantress of the game. Now, like with most fighting games these days, you gotta include the guest DLC characters, right? So let's see, I think the best choice would be to add a Power Ranger. But instead of adding the most popular one, which is Tommy the Green Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, or his White Tiger version, I'd say let it be the Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. That way, when customizing his headpiece, you can include every different Red Ranger helmet for fans to choose their personal favorite Red Ranger. Maybe the same could go for the rest of the customization to complete a specific Red Ranger costume. Another guest DLC character I'd like to see in this game would be one of the Battletoads, which when customizing you can create one of the other Battletoads. But since they are already included as guest characters for Killer Instinct, then I guess it wouldn't seem like much of a surprise. But you know what sounds like the right guest characters? The Street Sharks. And the Biker Mice from Mars. You gotta include these guys because back in the 90s, there were some TMNT competitors out there trying to create something similar, and these two were the closest to the Ninja Turtles as any other TMNT inspired series. And that is as much as I can say about this TMNT Tournament Fighter 2020 Dream Game. What do you guys think? Does this seem too far-fetched? Well, to end this video, I'll let the background fight play as the example of what the game could be like. At least for the TMNT characters and the gameplay, since I wouldn't really want to change anything about it. Other than the stance switch, I guess. But let me know if you guys agree or disagree as you spectate the results of this fight.
Turtle pun for you. Bye-bye.
Darkseid laughs as you perish.
Ain't no stopping a Ninja Turtle. Pizza trophy unlocked. Get over here.
That's it for the video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, as apparently now it doesn't even matter if you hit the notification button. The like button is the only thing YouTube is permitting us to use as a way to send more traffic to that video. If you're a Patreon supporter, check out the exclusive videos on my Patreon. Go support the channel, which is only $1. Sacrifice that McChicken for extra quality content, my friend. But anyways, I'll see you all in the next video, and remember to have an awesome day.